Hey guys, so in this video, I'll pretty much talking about how I feel that for some reason, especially adults, are sort of pressuring kids now to go to college. I would say in my last year of high school, I didn't really have a course or an idea of where or what I wanted to do. At the moment or at the time, I did like personal finance, but not to the point where I could see myself, working in an office and doing the whole 9 yards and that kind of thing. And my teacher was inviting people from a local college and having them come around and ask, what do you plan to study? If you don't plan to go to college, what do you plan to do and stuff like that. And at the time, I was like, oh, I want to do, I don't want to be a carpenter because I thought, it'd be nice to do that kind of work because I don't think it would be affected that much by AI and all those kind of things. And I was talking to the teacher and telling him, and he like looked at me like, "Oh, are you sure you don't want to go to college? You don't want to study for something?" And I was like, "No, I mean, I think I just want to be a carpenter. This is something that I thought would be interesting." And he just looked at me like in a like in disbelief or something or distraught because I would say 99% of the class was already applying or already applied to colleges, so they already had a sort of game plan in that kind of case. But I did talk to my friends about this, and they were also like, I guess we're gonna go to college because it's just normal. It's been normalized. People just believe if you don't go to college, then you'll I don't know grow up homeless or you won't be able to get far. And like college gives you all these things like connections, and you're so young. You should like go socialize in college and do all these kind of things. And now that I'm in college, it's literally just like high school, but you have more responsibilities, and if anything, people are a lot more quieter. And I would say it's probably because most people have to, pay out of pocket, so they actually want to focus on their classes. So I think I probably have to wait until I get to a 4 year college or university to actually, get to be with those social people or go out of state. I mean, I have met a couple people in my classes. They're quite, friendly, so that's nice. But I just don't like the stigma that if you don't go to college, all these bad things happen to you. My parents told me when I was a kid, if I want to be like a police officer for, college is like, oh, you have to do college because if you don't, you'll be homeless or like you'll struggle, like you won't have any future. And I come from a family of immigrants, people that are not from here, but have gone through the whole process to become citizens. And they've seen like when they were kids like how hard it is to work like in the fields or having to work like just out there without any protection like sunscreen anything like that. And they don't want me and my siblings and I'm sure a lot of other parents don't want their children and their grandchildren to be going through this way. You have to do this labor intensive work, like mess up your bones and your muscles and things like that, and it just wear you down until, when you're an old person, you can't like, hold like a flashlight or something, without shaking. And it's a sad reality that everybody has sort of been brainwashed into believing that if you don't go to college that you won't succeed in life. But there are many alternatives you could go to, which would be like trade school or trying to start your own business. Trade school has become has become very much more popular because of the whole idea of AI. And I do feel like some adults aren't really understanding the impact AI will have on the job market. Like these AIs are learning so fast. It was like maybe 5 years ago. No, maybe 2020. I think when that Will Smith eating spaghetti AI thing came out and it looked terrible. And if you look at it now, or if you look at it like last year, it looks just like him. It is so accurate to life that it is kind of scary and sort of dystopian that now all these massive companies like Amazon, Google, and Apple are starting to implement AI into their workforce and having to lay off people because these AIs, while they may cost like millions of gallons of water to cool down, it's fine as long as they're not having to pay for people's minimum wage or give them benefits like healthcare, which is something which has become so stupidly expensive to the point where, like, is it even worth it? Like, it might be cheaper to just genuinely just like die, because it is dumb, and people just don't pay their medical bills because it's too much. And if they did, I think most of the people here in the United States would be impoverished by now, because like there isn't enough money being given to the people who are working hard, people that are starting out. A lot of people don't like to give other people chances, and this is something that has also become worse with the years passing by. 2026, there's a lot of people who have a lot of distrust for younger people, or just people in general, because of, whether it's because of the COVID or other things like that of the sort, or just, bad relationships, because everybody's just so brain dead. Like, our attention span has sort of like disappeared. Um, and it's insane because I'm seeing this in my siblings, and also some of my cousins, younger cousins, and it's a shame, because this is where society is going, and everybody seems blind to the fact that society is quite literally crumbling before our eyes, and nobody's doing anything about it. They're all fixated, like on Instagram, and like all these like celebrity issues and all these things like that. When at the end of the day, when you're an old person and you don't have a retirement, or you don't know what you're going to do, or for a career, you're lost. What are you going to do? Because everybody is so like focused on their own thing in their own world, whether it's social media or just their actual real life jobs, that we can't spend this time, or use our time, or use enough time to spend it with the people that we love and actually cherish. And I think that's just a damn shame, because this has become so normalized that our lives have become so monotonous and mundane, and nobody's going out there to make a change. And if people are, it's sadly not enough for voices to be heard, and I think that's just a tragedy. Sorry if I got a bit off topic at the end of the video. I really just want to make this video because it's something I've been thinking about for a while now, the past couple of days, and I brought this up to many people that I know, and I think they are starting to sort of understand where I'm coming from, especially my parents. But it's just a very hard step to take when you've been told that these institutions can give you the future that you want as long as you pay money, and you just have to hope and just work hard. And if everything goes well, it's amazing. But if it doesn't, the blame will be put on you, like you weren't good enough, or you were just unlucky, or these changing times, they're changing faster than people realize. That I want people just to be aware of what can happen in the future and what most likely will happen in the future. Thank you for watching.